Om Sam Saraswati Namaha Namaste. Namaste, everyone. On page 387, the third discussion. The egotism of pundits and sin and merit. Ramakrishna to the doctor with great respect. Until you have dissolved your egotism, you can't achieve wisdom. The day I leave is the day I take liberation. Both I and mine are born out of ignorance. You and yours are wisdom. A real and true devotee says, "Hey God, you are the doer. It is you who does everything. I am only the tool. Just as you make me perform, that's just how I perform. This is all your gift. You are imperishable. You are the perceivable universe. You are the house. You are the insiders and the outsiders. I have nothing of my own. I am your servant. Just as you order, just so I am authorized to serve you." Srima, beautiful. Ramakrishna continues. Those who have read a few books, their egotism grows and grows. These are the people who have not achieved to that imperishable nature of God. I said to someone, he has gone to Delhi. That person said, "I have also visited Delhi," and he makes a very big statement. The person who is of authority will say, "I have great authority." So Ramakrishna is saying that those who have a little knowledge say, "Oh, I know that. I don't have to learn that from you because I already know that." We call those people a know-it-all, or Ramarakshasa. A demon so proud of his learning. Their learning made the ego greater rather than making it smaller. Whenever we have the idea that we know it all, then we have fallen. Shambhashu. They have great faith in you. Ramakrishna. Oh, what should I say? There was a servant in Gokineshwar who had a great ego. She had 2 or 3 ornaments on her body. One day she was coming along the path. There were 2 or 3 men walking on the other side, and the servant lady said to them, "Hey, get off my path." What shall we speak of other people's egotism? She was a servant lady, but she had a couple of pieces of gold ornaments on her body, and so she thought she was very important. She was really hot stuff. Shambhashu. There is a punishment for sins. God is doing everything. What kind of words are these? How do we reconcile them? Ramakrishna. What? You do not understand correctly. Narendra to Shambhashu. Your mind is always calculating. Isn't it endemic among accountants? Ramakrishna. Go eat the mango. There are so many hundreds of trees in the grove. There are so many thousands of branches. There are hundreds of thousands of leaves. What do you have to do with so much calculation? Go eat the mango. Don't count the trees. You came to eat the mango. Go eat the mango and your hunger is satisfied. You have a human body in this lifetime to realize God. Try to gain devotion to the feet of God. That is what you should be making an effort towards. Why do you need to make such an account? What will happen if you contemplate all the branches of philosophy? Look, if you have just a little bit of liquor, you can get intoxicated. You can listen to how many bottles there are in the store, but of what practical use will that be for you? What is the value of knowing how many bottles of liquor are in the store if you just need one for yourself? Your work is complete. Hari Bol. Om Tarave Vikmahe Mahapugrave Vimake Tanno Tara Pachu God has an infinite amount of liquor. There is no end to the intoxication that one gets from contemplating God. Ramakrishna Tasham Boshu, give it all to God. You give him all your authority. If sincere and honest people give him total authority, will he behave badly with you? Will he give you punishment for your sins? Whether he gives you or not, he will understand. Doctor, how does he calculate? How does he know the accounts of all men? He is beyond all accounts. Kote He Jan, say Mahajan. Ramakrishna Dasham Boshu, he is one. All you people from Kolkata say that God is the businessman. That sometimes he makes one person happy and comfortable, and sometimes he makes another person pained and sorrowful. Whatever is within the individual, the same thing is seen within God. Is the objective of life to attain respect from others? Ramakrishna, him used to visit Gokineshwar. Whenever he would see me, he would say with folded hands, respected Bhattacharya, how are you? You see, him thought that the most important thing in this universe is respect. Very few people understand that the attainment of God is the true objective of human manifestation. Very few people understand that. The fourth discussion. The gross body, the subtle body, the causal body, and that which is beyond. Shyam Boshu to Ramakrishna, is it possible for anyone to show us the subtle body? In order to see it, you have to go beyond it. And if you go beyond it, how can you see it? Ramakrishna, for one who is a true devotee, is it of any necessity to see the subtle body? If somebody sees it or not, what is the necessity? He really doesn't care. A true devotee doesn't have any inclination to impress others by demonstrating any type of powers. He doesn't need to impress or make friends with some big fellow. Shambhoshu. Okay, what is the difference between the gross body and the subtle body? Ramakrishna. This physical body, which is composed of 5 elements, is known as the gross body. Mind, intellect, all recollection, and the ego are known as the subtle body. That the body that has attained to supreme divinity and unites with that divinity is called the causal body. In the Tantras it is said the body is a manifestation of the infinite in energy. It is the unconditional great cause, which is beyond all thought and description. What it is can only be experienced. You can't express it with your mouth. You can only know. You can know what it is by practicing some form of sadhana. God desires us to do a little sadhana whereby we can develop sincere devotion. If you only listen, will that produce any fruit? You have to do something to get the spiritual fruit. You must nurture and water the seeds that have been planted. If you say ganja, ganja, will that be enough to get you stoned? Or intoxicated? Do you get stoned just by talking about marijuana? If you rub your body with ganja, will you get stoned? I don't think so. You have to eat it. Ramakrishna continuing. Which is the number 41 great thread and which is the number 40 great thread? If you are not in the business of dealing in threads, you can't tell the distinction between them. Unless you are in the thread business, you will not be able to tell that subtle difference. But if you are in the thread business, it is not difficult for you to tell the difference between all of the many grades of thread or sizes of needles. That is why I am saying you must do sadhana. Then you will know the gross body, the subtle body, the causal body, and that which is beyond. Then you'll know what they are talking about. First, pray to God with sincerity, with all your heart. Then with tremendous devotion, fall at the lotus feet of your chosen deity. After Ahalya was freed from her curse, Ramachandra said to her, "You may choose a boon for me." Ahalya replied, "If Ram will give me a boon, then give me the boon that even if I take birth in the womb of a pig, I will have no difficulty because I have had the darshan of Ram. But Ram, please bless me that my mind will always stay devoted to your lotus feet." Ramakrishna, I only want devotion from the Divine Mother. I was offering flowers to the lotus feet of the Divine Mother, and I asked her for only that one thing. I prayed, "Mother, take your ignorance, take your wisdom, give me pure devotion. Here is purity, here is impurity, give me pure devotion. Here is sin, here is merit, give me pure devotion. Here is good, here is bad, give me pure devotion. Here is dharma, here is adharmic, give me pure devotion. Shud, pavitra, chirastai, yakulata, ananya bhakti. Give me pure devotion." Whatever dharma you perform, you will receive the opposite as well. If you go to take merits, you will get sin. Every time you take wisdom, you will get ignorance. Every time you take purity, you will get impurity. If you understand there is a light illuminated, then you will understand that there is darkness as well. Who knows only one thing, they know a lot. Who knows the good things, they know the bad things as well. But if anyone eats the meat of a pig and they have pure devotion to the lotus feet of God, that individual is blessed. If they are eating the pure food of puja but have a selfish attachment to their samsara, then Doctor, who is the lowest? Now I'm going to tell you something. Buddha did eat the meat of a pig and he always had a pain in his stomach. So he used to eat opium. Do you know what nirvana and all that is? He used to eat opium and would become fully sedated yet full of knowledge. He would lose all outer consciousness of the external world. That was the nature of his nirvana. Hearing the doctor's definition of Buddha's nirvana, everybody laughed and laughed. After composing themselves, the discussions resumed. The fifth discussion: the householder's life and activities free from attachment. Ramakrishna to Shambhoshu: there is no fault in protecting your dharma in the samsara, but keep your mind at the lotus feet of God. Try to perform your duties without selfish desire. Sometimes you may have seen that if someone has a cyst on his back, they will continue to talk with everybody. Perhaps they will even perform their work, but their mind remains with the cyst on their back. You do your samsara like a married woman. A married woman's mind stays with her husband, but she does all the work of the house. Ramakrishna to the doctor: do you understand? Doctor, without having this attitude, how can I understand? Shambhoshu to the doctor: you understand at least a little bit. They all began to laugh. Ramakrishna laughing heartily: he has been doing this doctor business for a long time. Isn't that so? They all began to laugh again. Shambhoshu: sir, what do you think about theosophy? Ramakrishna: the main issue is this: those who make disciples and at the same time wish to acquire siddhis, powers, are of a lower nature. Those who have become adepts want various forms of energy or powers. For example, if someone wishes to walk upon the Ganga, that requires energy, the power to walk on water. To hear what other people are saying in distant places, that is also an energy, a power. It is very difficult for people who concentrate on these external powers to have pure devotion to God. Shambhoshu. But they are trying, according to their capacity, to establish Hindu Dharma. Ramakrishna, I don't know their qualifications or situations very well. Shambhoshu. After death, where does the individual soul go? Does he go to the moon, the stars, or any place? The Theosophists like to explain these things. Ramakrishna, yes, that is possibly their attitude. Let it be that way. Do you know what my attitude is? One person asked Hanuman, what day is today? Hanuman replied, I don't know the day or the month. I don't know where the stars or the planets are. I only think of Ram. I have that same attitude. Shambhoshu, they say all the Mahatmas, adepts, are spiritually advanced souls. What is your faith? Ramakrishna, you leave all those thoughts right now. Wait until my disease leaves me and then you may come back. I will answer all your questions. If you believe in me, that's enough. You will find a way to understand. I don't take any money. I don't take any cloth. I don't have any attachments. That is why so many people come to see me. All began to laugh. Ramakrishna to the doctor. Don't get angry with all these things I have been saying to you. I know you have done all these things, earning money, giving lectures, etc. Now it is time for you to give your mind to God. Occasionally you come here, just listening to the word of God, you will get advancement. Then after a short time, the doctor got ready to leave. About that time, Girish Chandra Ghosh arrived. He took the dust of Ramakrishna's lotus feet and sat down. When the doctor saw Girish, he was filled with delight and sat back down again. Doctor humorously pointing to Girish, when I was here, he wasn't, and then when I thought I would go, he arrives. All laughed. The doctor engaged Girish in conversation about the Science Association. Ramakrishna, one day you will take me to the Science Association. Doctor, if you go there, you will faint. If you see the amazing drama of God there, you will go unconscious. Ramakrishna, is that true? The sixth discussion, worshipping the Guru. Doctor to Girish, do whatever you choose, but don't worship him, Ramakrishna, as God. Don't call him God and do puja to him. You trouble this good man enough as it is. Girish, great sir, Mahashai, what are you saying? That individual takes us across this ocean of worldliness. What else shall I do with him? It is because his poo looks like the same as everyone else's? Srima laughs. That's slang language. In Bengali, it is slang language. Doctor, it doesn't happen because of the poo. I don't have any aversion. One shopkeeper's son came. He made poo right there. Everyone closed their noses with their cloth. I sat with that child for half an hour, but I didn't put the cloth over my nose until the sweeper came and cleaned up everything. I didn't need to put a cloth over my nose. I understood that what he is, that also I am. Why should I feel aversion? Can't I take the dust from my Guru's feet? Look, I am taking. He took the dust from Sri Ramakrishna's feet and put it on his forehead. Girish, In this situation, everyone is receiving blessings. Doctor, is that something wonderful to take the dust from the Guru's feet? I can take the dust from everyone's feet. Give me your dust. He took the dust from everyone's feet. Narendra to the doctor. We understand Sri Ramakrishna to be God-like. You understand what I mean? Just like in the vegetable and animal creations, from time to time, there are living things that you can't tell whether they are plants or animals. It is very difficult to distinguish. This man is living in both the human world and in God's world, or somewhere in between. That is his position. It is very difficult to say whether he lives in God's world or man's world. Is this individual a human being, or is this individual a God? Doctor, you can't give examples of God's world. Narendra, I'm not talking about God. I'm talking about a person who is like God. Doctor, you have to control your individual attitude. It is not good for you to publicize it. No one will understand. Even those who claim to be my closest friends think of me as having no compassion whatsoever. Perhaps all of you will beat me with your shoes. Ramakrishna to the doctor. What is this? They love and respect you with sincerity. When they hear that you are coming, they set everything up and keep everything ready. Girish, everyone has great faith in you, doctor. Doctor, even my wife thinks of me as having an empty heart without any love or attachment because I have this one fault. I don't publicize my attitude in front of others. Girish, then, great sir, Mahashai, it will be very good of you to open up your heart and speak your mind. Have some compassion for your friends and show your grace. Doctor, when I am with all of you, I also get emotional and go into Bob. Doctor to Narendra, I shed tears when I am alone. The final discussion. Great individuals accept the sins of individuals, the avatars and Narendra. Doctor to Ramakrishna, when you go into Bob, you sometimes put your foot on somebody's body. That is not appropriate. Ramakrishna, do you think I understand when I do that? Upon whose body do I put my foot? Doctor, that is not good. You have to have a little discrimination. Ramakrishna, when I go into this Bob, how can I explain to you how or what I am? After my Bob is over and I return to my normal consciousness, then I think that the reason I am suffering from this disease is because of doing things like that. I become crazy for God when I am in this Bob. So many unorthodox things I do when I am in that craziness. What can I do? Doctor, God understand what your attitude is. Doctor, looking at the devotees, he expresses regret for what he does. At least he knows those actions are sinful. Ramakrishna to Narendra, you are very truthful and your words are quite penetrating. Why don't you explain to him? Try and make him understand. Girish to the doctor, sir, you understand incorrectly. He is not pained by all that. His body is pure. He has no sin. He touches people for their own welfare. If he didn't take away their sins, it wouldn't be possible for him to experience this disease. That is why he sometimes experiences feeling this way. When you had colic, didn't you regret that you had stayed up many nights studying your books? Were you doing anything wrong by staying up late in the night? You regret it because it was the primary cause of your getting ill. Is it incorrect for one individual to touch another when he has nothing but the best intentions for that person's welfare? Doctor, disgusted and fed up with Girish. You win! Go ahead and give me the dust of your feet. Doctor to Narendra. I have no further debate with that intellectual powerhouse. I have to concede. Narendra to the doctor. There is another side of this issue. For scientific discovery, doctor, you may risk your health with the intensity of your research. This is beyond science. He also has risked his health and everything else for the divine science, the worship and realization of God. In the intensity of his bhav, he pays little attention to the discomforts of his body or his disease. Girish to the doctor. Sir, you have the same fault. You have a great ego. The fault that he has, you also have. Who has a fault will always see that particular fault in others. The doctor is silent. Narendra to the doctor. By worshiping him, we are worshiping God, and God is coming very close to us. Ramakrishna began to laugh with great delight. Srima, Narendra is saying that there is no difference between worshiping God and worshiping the Guru. Jai Sri Ramakrishna, Jai Ma, Om. And the final picture is a photograph of Ramakrishna's last rites. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramakrishnaaya Namaha. Are there any questions or issues for discussion? Yes, please, Gauri.
Swamiji, yesterday when the doctor was talking to Ramakrishna, he kept saying that it was wrong for him to go into samadhi because he said it was bad for his disease. But isn't in a body in that state of union, doesn't it heal itself, or doesn't it have the possibility of healing itself?
No, it's metaphysical because it's beyond the physical. And that's our definition. It becomes beyond the physical completely. So the body does what it does, and the soul is now no longer confined by the limitations of that body. The soul is too big, and bigger and bigger and bigger. And that little tiny body can't contain that great soul. And that's why it's called Paramahamsa. Please.
Question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nandama.
Pranam and Swamiji, when we know something and we know that we know, what is wrong in admitting that we know? Would that make us a Brahma Rakshasa? Should we assume a humility that we don't feel? Please help me understand.
No, Nandama, you should not assume a humility that you don't feel. You should feel the humility. And listen. Because wisdom is a function of the ear more than of the tongue. So then listen. And when it's our turn, if someone is interested, then we'll give our opinion. But to barge into the conversation and say, everyone step aside, I know, that would be a lack of humility. And that wouldn't be wisdom even if you had the correct answer.
Question from Kumari from Valley Hope.
Namaste, Kumari Ma.
Pranam and Swamiji, how does a devotee of God know if he or she is performing the dharma that has been allotted to them in a lifetime?
Excellent question. Kumari, if you're in harmony with your work and your action, then you know you're performing God's ordained action. If every time you perform those actions it's a struggle and you resent it and you regret it and you don't look forward to it, then you know that there is not harmony there. It's probably something that you're imposing upon yourself or being imposed upon you for some other reason than divine inspiration. When you have a divine inspiration, it's fun. It's exciting, it's challenging, it's something you look forward to doing. And when you gotta do it, then it's probably not God's chosen vocation for you.
Swamiji, some say kill the ego. Sri Ramakrishna said to let the ego remain in a purified form as the servant of God. Which is correct?
Mahishasura, the great ego, won the boon that only the Divine Mother can kill the ego. So all of our attempts to kill the ego, I am going to kill my I, are doomed to futility. It's impossible. It's a logical fallacy. The only thing that we could do is make my I into a devotee, into a servant, into a singer of the Chandi and say, hey Mom, please, if you're pleased with me, take away the ego from me and let me remain as a servant of God. Please. I can't kill my ego. I am trying to kill I. Who will win? But I can try to surrender my ego and make him into an efficient servant of the divine. Please.
Swamiji, also a couple days ago we talked about the reason that we don't reach samadhi is because we have a fear of it.
Many of us do.
And how do we overcome this fear?
Just by prayer. Hey Mom, please, let me not be afraid to come closer to you. Because
Just you share with your mom who gave birth to you. See? If you love that same way, I don't think so. Question from Ambi from New Jersey.
Namaste, Ambike.
Pranam and Swamiji, do we experience the gross, subtle and causal body at the same time? Or do we have to somehow go through the gross and subtle in order to experience the causal body? Thank you.
We experience all three simultaneously. But in sadhana, we work from the outside in. So we start with the gross body by putting that into a harmony, into a balance. And then we move to the subtle body and put that into a balance. And then we are privileged to perceive this causal body.
Swamiji, question from Parvati from Sacramento.
Namaste, Parvati Ma.
Namaste, Shrima and Swamiji. Can you explain the devotion through feeling a little more?
No. How can you explain your feelings? Can you tell me how sweet the sugar is? What does it feel like? What does it feel like to be in love? You can't explain your feelings because they don't have words. You can talk around them and about them, but you can't tell me the intensity of the feeling. I have a headache. How bad is it? It's a splitting headache. Well, put it on a scale of 1 to 10. How intense? In the same way, you can't explain your feelings, but you can feel them. And that's what Ramakrishna is telling us to do. He says, go deeper into the intensity of your feelings. Get out of your mind. I'm out of my mind. You get out of your mind. Be crazy for God. Don't intellectualize it and don't try to make it into a philosophical treatise. It's a feeling and enjoy it.
Swamiji, there's some confusion here. In one way, she says everything is all God's will. On the other side, without having darshan with God, nobody can have complete faith in God's will. Can you clear up some of the confusion?
No. No, I can't. But I can tell you the process through which I cleared some of the confusion for myself. And the only way to do that is called sadhana, and that's very always saying again and again in the book, do sadhana and make the purification so that you can understand. You'll have the discrimination. You'll understand what kind of activities am I doing for myself and what am I really doing for God. And once you have that understanding, you get to understand, I want to do more and more and more for God because I become attracted by a magnet. The magnetic force is attracting me. And then it becomes natural. It's not logical.
Swamiji, in practical terms, what can we do or how do we surrender our soul and everything to God?
Well, I would have to recommend the path of Ashtanga Yoga. Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam. Yam, take control of your lives. Define the goal. Make a list of priorities. What do I have to do in order to achieve the goal? And what is the goal? I mean, really, what is the goal? And now, once you've got that understanding, then niyam, make a discipline to achieve that goal. And then put your body in harmony, put your breath in harmony, bring your senses inside. Ashtanga Yoga is the path by which we surrender. Yes, please.
Swamiji, so few people decide that they want to pursue the path of God realization. And when we do decide that that's the way, so many of the saints say that you have to spend time away from the world, and yet several of us still have to be in the world so much. How can we not be in the world so much? Or is it all karma that, I mean, I have the desire to be in, living in spending my time doing sadhana and spending my time doing puja and path and stuff, but at the same time I'm spending so much time outside.
Well, then don't spend the time outside, spend the time inside. Even when you're outside, you're serving your customers as you would serve a devotee of God. You're teaching your classes as you would be teaching a divine satsang. As you would be communicating the inspiration. Dance through life. Don't try to extricate yourself from the world. Try to make your world divine. What I'm doing there, I am the servant of God. I've come to illuminate divinity through my activities, through my relationships. So it's not like, oh, I'm going to give up the world and go away and sit under a tree. You got a relationship with the tree. And even you go into the deepest part of the forest, you need wood, you need water, you need some food, you need to build a shelter. And you have a relationship with every other rock and bush in the forest. So it's not like you're going to leave the world. The world's going to leave you. You'll only see divinity when you go there. You'll have fun. Everybody around you will have fun. You put everybody on a good trip because you're there to serve God in this way. Which way it is, I don't know. It may be through teaching, it may be through serving, it may be through acting, it may be as a carpenter, as a woodcutter, as a chopping wood and carrying water. I'm there to serve God. This is the joy, the privilege of my life, to be able to serve God with the love that's in my heart. And I don't think that the objective is to, how do I not go into the world? Wherever you go, the world will be there. Please.
So, I have a few related questions. In the Ashtanga Yoga path, the ultimate stage, the culmination is Samadhi. In the book, Sri Ramakrishna also talks about the vision of God.
Yes.
That's the second concept. And the third concept, which is probably the lowest one, is when I look at an altar or a murti and I close my eyes, and I have a hazy vision of the murti, or sometimes I'm walking and I'm able to create a hazy vision of the murti. Now, how are the three related? How is the vision of God related to the Ashtanga Yoga? Is it related to Samadhi? And this hazy vision, how does it converge to that?
There are three kinds of samadhi. Bhav samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. In Bhav samadhi, there's me and the deity in our relationship. And I close my eyes and I see you. You're hazy, it's a hazy vision, but I see you and I'm giving you my love and my devotion. And when I give you my love and devotion, it becomes more and more clear until just you and I are there. And it becomes savikalpa samadhi. I am and you are, and here we are. Isn't that a neat place to be? And after some time in savikalpa samadhi, one of us dissolves. And I can't tell you which one. And we go into nirvikalpa samadhi. And that's how the three are related. Back to work.
We have hazy vision. I love you.
So if you have a hazy vision, you have a bhav. And if you cultivate that bhav and stay with that bhav and go deeper and deeper into the intensity of that love affair, you're going to savikalpa samadhi, where there just won't be a word to describe it. There's just you and me. And after that,
Nothing.
Om Sam Saraswati
That's
Namaha.
good. You get hazy vision. Very good. Stay.
Namaste. Namaste, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us in the completion of the nectar of eternal bliss. My sincere respect to M for recording the words of his master, and my sincere respect to Sri Maha for
Respect the Swami.
our
Ramakrishna is talking. Ramakrishna, stop.
Namaste.
Thank you, Swami.
Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow is Saturday and Sri Ma's gonna sing.
Everybody will sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sunday, we'll of course have our group Chandi, and Monday night we'll all sing. We've got a really fun program. If you're not busy, please come and join us any way you can, through the net or through or in person or any way you want to. We'll do puja, and we'll do homa, we'll do Latin mass, and we'll do kirtan, and we'll do Christmas carols, and we'll eat figgy pudding. And I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. And then Christmas Day, would you like to sing the Guru Gita? Christmas Day. We can sing the Guru Gita. So we'll try that. And we won't be studying any more books until next year. So we'll hope that next year we'll notify everybody. But we will have a little satsang. I don't know what it will be. Every evening, at least we'll do arati, and we'll do some little homa or something. So please, everybody have a healthy, happy, safe holiday season. Merry Christmas to you. Happy Hanukkah to you. Namaste.
Swamiji, can I say a message from
Yes.
everybody. Ma and Swamiji, thank you for the class, thank you for the singing, thank you for the knowledge. Pranam, 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 pranam. Again and again, again and again. Pranam, 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 pranam. From everybody, Swamiji, from all the viewers all over the world, especially from the online class, everyone is saying the same thing. Jai Ma, thank you. Ma.
Jai Ma.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Thank you.
That's wonderful, no? There was feeling when you studied Ramakrishna himself, is it every day book, yeah? Or is it?
Some of the sadhus used to come and give talk on Friday evening, and then we chant Friday evening we chant Vedas, Upanishad, like Upanishad.
Did you come down Baba Vanga?
Oh, yes, lots of singing.
Divinity is never impure. This means that the Vedas, the Puranas, the Tantras, and all the other scriptures are somewhat impure because they are chanted with the tongue. All that you can speak is impure. Just what the supreme divinity is can only be experienced. No one has been able to express with their mouth exactly what the supreme divinity is. That is why the supreme divinity remains completely pure. What is it like to experience the bliss of Brahman? Only he or she who has had the experience understands, and these true knowers will always say that it is impossible to express. The words talk about God, they can't express God herself. Let's pause here and see if there are any questions or issues for discussion. Please.
Swamiji, I have a question about what Sri Ramakrishna says about shame, modesty and aversion.
Yes.
He says that we have to give up aversion, but isn't it necessary for a seeker to cultivate a disgust for worldly things before he reaches that stage?
No, it is not necessary. Not disgust for worldly things, delight for heavenly things. Heavenly things attract us. It's not that we're averse to the world, because we see the world as one with God. God is the world. So we're not trying to cultivate aversion for worldliness. We're trying to cultivate attraction to divinity, for godliness, so that we can be so much attentive to the attraction of godliness, we forget all about the worldliness. Worldliness knocks on the door, there's no one home. I'm not averse to worldliness, I'm just busy. Or when I finish my sankalpa of godliness, then we'll think, well, do I have some time or energy or resources to expend in pursuing worldliness? Or not? Not aversion, but love for godliness. The love fills us with the positive. Yes, please.
A question from Janitri from Virginia.
Namaste, Janitri Ma.
Pranam Ma and Swamiji, can you please explain more about he who knows the light also knows the darkness? Thank you.
Janitri, I remember the story when darkness went to the Lord and said, Lord, this is a perfect creation, but why is the sun always chasing me around the earth? I never get an opportunity to sit down. the Lord said, wait a minute, let me ask the sun. He called the sun, sun, come here. Darkness left. Sun, why are you always chasing darkness around the earth? Sun said, Lord, I've never seen darkness. You please bring him in here and show him to me, and I promise I won't chase him away. Janitri, this is why. If you know the darkness, you know the light. The light only shines in the darkness. You become aware of them both. But if you become the light, then you don't know darkness. And that's the distinction. Who knows darkness knows the light. Who knows light knows darkness. But who is the light can't see the darkness. He radiates, she radiates wherever she goes.
Question from Nanda from San Jose.
Namaste, Nandavad.
Pranam Mind Swamiji, how does one develop renunciation?
Certainly by keeping the association of renunciants. Birds of a feather, it's the satsang effect. Please be very, very, very discriminating about with whom you keep your satsang.
That's great medicine.
That's the best medicine.
How does one develop discrimination, and how does one discriminate if one's decision is made out of discrimination or ego?
The way to develop discrimination is by defining your goals and objectives. And then you have a criteria by which to discriminate. You have a basis upon which to judge. Is this decision going to take me to my goal, or is it going to take me farther away? That's called the discrimination. So therefore, setting your goal and defining that goal is the most important aspect of discrimination.
A question from Ambika. From
Namaste, Ambika.
Hi.
Namaste, Mind Swamiji. On page 329, Sri Ramakrishna says that if we are not simple, it's very difficult to have faith in God. The conversation later goes on to refer to crippled beings. Is this simplicity referring to one's lifestyle or to one's mental capacity? Thank you.
Oh, definitely simplicity referring to our lifestyle and to our desires, not to capacity. The greatest amongst us will have a simple capacity, a simple nature, because we've defined our goal as God. We've defined our path as the way to God, and now the rest is extraneous, Ambika. It's not necessary. So the greater evolved soul will have a more simple demeanor. The greater the evolution of the soul, their lives will dwell in simplicity.
Question from Kumari from Vallejo.
Namaste, Kumari Ma.
How can we keep our mind intoxicated with God and in the bhav while performing our householder responsibilities in the midst of a powerful Maya?
Sing as much as you can. Sing. When you wash the dishes, let the mantra wash the dish. When you walk through the door, let the gods bless you as you enter and exit. Sing as much as you can, and that will remind you.
If you cannot sing, listen CD.
Yes.
Swamiji, on page 373, Thakur Ramakrishna says, if you leave refuge of Maya and grab onto truth, can you please explain how we take refuge in Maya and how we can take refuge in God?
Oh, we're taking refuge in Maya all the time whenever we place our faith in objects and relationships in the world, in the illusion of our attachments. This is our taking refuge in Maya. Now, when we're bound by attachment, we're certainly taking refuge in Maya. Now, in order to take refuge in truth and godliness, we want to discriminate. How much of this Maya do I need, really? And how much of it is extraneous to the equation, which I've defined as the real goal of my endeavor? That is, I want to reach to God. So I need some money in order to take care of all of my worldly responsibilities. So I need a job in order to get the money. So I need some clothes in order to be appropriate in the job. And I need some training, and I need some education. And now here we get so bound up in the Maya that we forget that I wanted it all because I want to go to God. Now, let's start cutting away the excess, trimming away, paring away, stripping ourselves down to and you know how Ramakrishna said, it's just like the onion. You peel one peel, and then you peel another peel, and you keep peeling away the skin of the onion, and in the middle, nothing remains. And that's how we give up our attachment to Maya and take refuge in truth.
Swamiji, a question from Parvati from Sacramento.
Namaste, Parvati Ma.
Swamiji, how do we know when it is God will and when it is our will? Sometimes it is difficult to differentiate. Can you give us some guidance?
Yes. Lots. You know, when our will and God's will are in harmony and attunement, then you can't distinguish between the two. However, if you can find selfish motivations, if you can find a selfish gain, if you can find some place in the activity that God wouldn't really approve of, it's not really God's desire. So now you can use your discrimination. And all of that will give us greater criteria by which we can discriminate. Is it really for God? Or is it just for little old me? And once we have that understanding, then we can make the determination. Is it appropriate for me? Is it in my best interest? Is it in my community's best interest? Will it really take me closer to my goal? Or is it just a quick fix for a temporary enjoyment? Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste.